Hey everyone. Hey Sharon Sipe and 1111 and Teresa Balthazar and Jan. Is it Jan Breck? I got some new comments. I guess I need to check it out. Sharon, did I say Sharon? And Sharon Granger. There are just a few of you here right now. Um, so we'll wait a little while to see if anybody's coming in. Hopefully we'll get a few more viewers. I felt like I wanted to do an announcement saying the petty party was coming up. I just didn't have, huh?
So your notification went out.
Oh, good. I just didn't have the energy. I didn't sleep for almost 12 weeks. Hi, Marsha Miller. Oh, there you are, Cappy's mom. I was wondering if you were going to come to the party. I have been catching up on my sleep since I was so sleep deprived these last several weeks with the leading up to the election. But look what we did. Hey, Connie Brown, look what we did. Look what our prayers and our positive thinking and thoughts. Look what we did. We changed the whole thing, baby. Yes, and I am delighted because now I mean, after hearing the final results, I was able to go to sleep. I slept very well, but we still have a battle going on here between Purdue and Ossoff and Warnock and Lawler. So they have hit the ground. They had Skeletor, Rick Scott here the other day going out with them. And I forget who else is supposed to come in. But the whole idea, what they are trying to do. Hey, Jade LLR. Say hi, Johnny. Johnny, of course, is here. Marsha Miller, Adventurous Spirit, Dove Girl. Adrienne is working on another project and she's going to join us if she's able to do so. However, we're sending our thoughts and our love and letting her know that we certainly miss having her energy here. Anyway, back to the elections. We're still having to battle here because the whole idea about these mail-in ballots was that, first of all, the Joy's attempts to go in and totally blow up the post office, which was already limping, didn't quite work out the way they thought it would. And the whole idea of these illegal, in air quotes, illegal ballots is just another attempt to suppress the votes in Georgia, which black votes and brown votes, because in the largest areas within Fulton, Chatham, Clayton, these counties showed up and showed out in Georgia. So this whole idea about illegal ballots is to keep us from voting and to make us feel as if, again, we don't matter. But you know what? There's a saying that goes, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, but it should be hell hath no fury like a black woman scorned, because we came out in full force. We came out determined to change this toxic administration. You know, we're tired of our children being shot down in cold blood by police, where they get hi, Wendy Ladd, where they only get a slap on the wrist and a few months in prison. We have had it with that. We've had it with Betsy DeVos trying to ruin public schools when she knows that most of the children going to public schools are black and brown children, and there is brilliance in all of those schools. Connie Brown says 97% of the Navajo voters voted for Biden. Native American, as my friend called them, First Americans, also helped. We won't forget anybody else. We're not attempting to forget the Latino voters, nor are we forgetting First Americans, Native Americans, everybody that showed up who are really, really like over this guy. And we're still waiting for him to admit it. I think maybe privately he knows, but he's just simply unable to bring himself to the realization that he's a loser and has always been a loser. This is a situation where he can't throw money at it. He can't get anybody else to come in and save him. He's hurting, I would think, and because he's so vindictive, now we have to focus on prayer that will block any of his attempts to delegitimize Biden and Harris's election, because that's what he will spend these next 60 some days doing. Now, see, sometimes you got to be careful what you ask for, because it's been often said that he himself is an illegitimate president. So he may stir the pot hard enough for stuff to come out about him, and they'll put a black shroud where his portrait is supposed to be. Now President Obama's portrait can go back up, and now Bill Clinton's portrait can go back up because he didn't allow them to be hung while he was there. And he can take the reptile. She's already packed her bag. She's ready to slither on out of there and get on with her life. So, and his family's trying to convince him that he should go. Now, today, we had the Million MAGA March. We can't have nothing. It was a million black men march. We can't have nothing. Like, damn. Now, according to news reports, 1 million people did not show up, maybe about 6,000. And he jumped in the car and had a little ride around and waved at people. At least they say that it was him. We're not really sure if it was him, but I would imagine he was out. He would have everybody saddle up and go out so that he could see his fans and the people who are trying to say that this was stolen. Now, a thief would know about stealing. That's what he did in 2016 with the help of Putin and all his buddies. And so anybody accusing you of things that they do usually do so because they are thieves. If they say you can't be trusted, it's because you can't trust their asses. Yeah, so before we get started, we're going to have a little housekeeping. Yes, this is for entertainment purposes only. We're here for some kikis and some LOLs. YouTube. I know that I may never be monetized because I cuss too much. However, one expletive can kind of save you 4 or 5 words. See, so that's why we do it. My opinions are mine. I don't expect people to agree. It's all right for you to disagree. That's fine with me because chances are I'm disagreeing with you as well. So as we move into the bizarre news, we didn't even have to leave the United States to find some bizarre news. I want to talk about Paula White calling down the angels from Africa and South America to come in and help Donald Trump. Johnny, what do you see in Miss White's future? Now, I want to give you a little history on this cow. She climbed to fame on the backs of Black people and Black people in the church. That's how she got famous. T.D. Jakes had her in his church all the time prophesying. And look what she turns around and does. She could, for her own, I feel like a lot of what she does and has been doing is ego driven, and that she also has a place in Trump Tower, but it's ego driven. And now she's standing with a supremacist. And I'm wondering how many Black people are still following this guy. She stole the church that she's in. So I'm just wondering, Johnny, what do you think about that girl? What's wrong? She got rolling. I know it
So
sounds like a damn.
she recently got on her platform in her pulpit. Mind you, she is not a prophet. She is a PROFIT prophet.
Yes.
And so she said that to her fellow Christians, I guess, the leaders of churches and things of that nature, don't go into the media and say bad things about me. Call me. You got my number. It's been the same. Da, 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 da. And so on Roland Martin's program,
Yeah.
he went on to say, I've called you since 2017 and you ain't called me back. I've called you many times. I've left messages. I've sent text messages. I've sent emails. Then he had the pastor that took over Eddie Long's church.
Jamal Bryant. Yeah.
Yes, Jamal Bryant. He said the same thing. And basically and he said what you just said, that she got her fame off the back of black people and then turned around and worked for the Orange Man. So I didn't do a reading. I just did basically commentary that says exactly what you just said, is this is ego driven. She is not hearing from source. She's not hearing from her God. She is not working in the Holy Spirit, because she had every opportunity in the world to go into all the world and preach the gospel to the one person who needed it the most.
That's right.
And she didn't do that. So when you stand before your maker and he asks you, why did you give in to your temptation? Why did you give in to the ego? Why did you give in to the money? Why did you give in to the fame? Why did you give in to the fortune? Why did you give in to all that? You don't have to save Donald Trump's soul. Sometimes all you got to do is plant the seed and then let somebody come water it. And then let somebody come reap it, and then let somebody come lead him to the Lord. You don't have to be the one to do it, but you at least have to try. That is what your religion commands you to do, since you are called or anointed. But I think she is a fraud, to just sum it up. But
I know she's a fraud, and I'm giving her the side eye. For real, I started looking at her strangely a long time ago, because she is a known hoe. She even said she gonna use her hips and her lips to get to where she was. Okay, what we
first
got?
card, 7 of Swords.
Stealing the money, walking away with the money.
Yes, and to me, this card says a whole lot. This is Paula White in a card form. Their back here is a carnival. You put on the carnival, you put on the show, you put out the flyers, you put out the messages, the radio ads. Hey, we're going to have a carnival. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be lovely. I'm called on the angels of Africa. I'm called on the angels of and we're going to have all this, and everybody's going to come and watch and see the show, right? And then everybody gets in and it's dark. There's nothing there. It's a rake and a broom in the middle of the floor. Meanwhile, she went out the back door with all your money.
With all your money.
There's even no carnival, there's no lights, no lions, no elephants. Nothing. It's just,
she even had the nerve to say, if you didn't send me $10,000 or something like that, that hell and damnation was going to fall on you.
It's crossed by this is a prison of her own making. That's what this card is. This woman's not captive. These swords are not touching her. By the looks of the cards, they're actually ethereal. She can even walk through them. And so this is a prison of her own making. She did this herself. Temperance. There is no balance. This is what she's supposed to be, with the angel in between you and your adversaries.
Right.
The balance of life. The Star. Hope and healing for the future. This is kind of the center of attention too. So with the Temperance, the Ace of Swords. This is kind of sad in particular case, because this indicates she knows better.
Yeah.
It's different if don't jump off the bridge, people. It is different for Trump. Trump, yes, he's a grown man and he can know better, but he has been a character his whole life. He does not know how to be real and genuine. She knows better. She knows how to return to source. She knows how to get that clarity and that truth. She knows how to pray. She knows how to talk to God. What she was doing in that pulpit with that antsy boy walking behind her with all them damn papers, what she was doing was a show. That's all that was. She was not calling on the angels of nowhere.
No, she was calling on a hurricane.
No, don't nobody know what you're saying.
Nobody know what you're saying. But I didn't even get the feeling it was even real tongues. It was just making up as she was going along.
She must have had an itch at the roof of her mouth and she was trying to scratch and talk at the same time, because that's all that was. But this is, in the end, this is all it's really about.
The pentacles, the money.
Going from place to place trying to get a job.
Oh, yeah, that was what I was thinking, that she's trying to hold on to her gig as a spiritual advisor, but she's failed miserably at that because this man is off the chain. And there are those who suspect she's a side piece. I wouldn't be surprised. She lived in she has a place in Trump Tower. She talks about very openly about the time he called her. And she said, and she stood in front of these black folks at T.D. Jakes Church, I think, saying, I don't care what you think. I want to know how a billionaire thinks. I want to know. And I'm thinking to myself, well,
ask God.
Ask God. I mean, wouldn't you consult
clarity for some
creator before you? Oh, God, she's a mess. And so
as a pastor, as a person who is a pastor and a preacher is two different things. A preacher goes from place to place teaching the word of God. A pastor is a person who, like a shepherd, who leads the sheep into greener pastures. This is the person who you can call at 3:00 in the morning when you racked with pain and you're at the hospital or whatever. That's your pastor. That's the person who is stationary, who tends to your spiritual needs.
Yes.
As a pastor, if she wants to know how a billionaire thinks, does she also need to know, as a pastor, how a drug addict thinks and then go hang out with drug addicts? Does she need to know how a murderer thinks and then hangs out? What about the rapist and the pedophile? Does she also need to go hang out where they hang out to figure out what it is?
Hang out with Trump, and he's all those things.
Come on. He got a full education.
There's a public document. This young girl was, she came out, she was Jane Doe at first, but she came out with Gloria Allred when he was running and had filed a lawsuit alleging that he had raped her at 13 when he was hanging out with Epstein. So, yeah, despite what the QAnon children think, that he's coming to everybody wearing red bottom shoes is a pedophile. No, they just have money to buy Louboutins, so no, how can a pedophile track down other pedophiles and stop them when he's part of all of that? All of that. Now, in bizarre news, the people in the DOJ are giving Billy Barr the middle finger. 16 prosecutors came out and said, and you need to rescind this order because, first of all, they know he ain't got long there anyway. So they probably felt like, shit, he's not going to be here very long. We can say how we really feel now. But they pretty much told him, boy, bye. We're not going to get involved with politics. We see what you've done with Roger Stone. We see what you tried to do with Mike Flynn. We see that you have been doing things for this man with these investigations that taxpayers pay for and have come up with zip. We see what you're doing. So I'm hoping and praying that whatever he has up his sleeve fails miserably, that if it's the only success it had is to show who he really is. And I think that's one of the reasons he's afraid to get out. There's a guy named Noel Castler who worked with him on all the Celebrity Apprentice shows and all of the beauty pageants, from the teen ones all the way through the Miss Universe ones. And if you ever have a chance to go on YouTube, look up Noel Casler, Casler. He's made several appearances on the Stuttering John podcast, and he spills all the tea on this cat.
Here's my problem. First off, Trump supporters, they went out and protested Stop the Steal.
Is that what it was? I didn't even watch.
They went out, they were in crowds, Stop the Steal. First of all, stop the theft, not the steal. But anyway, Stop the Steal. They went out and protested, had signs that said, ban mail ballots, stop mail ballots, stop counting, stop. The problem I'm having is the disconnect between that could be my vote that you're not counting.
Right. Exactly.
And what kind of president would tell people to stop counting votes? How many? Just, you don't even have to, not even Black history. Just go back in your own 1776 history, where you fought for the right to do this as white people. You fought for the right. Your ancestors, your Confederate flag ancestors, even fought for their own freedom. Yeah. So if there is a president, a person, period, that stands up and says, stop counting votes, shouldn't you have a problem with that person? What if that vote is yours?
Right. I don't think he thought that through, that some of those
none of them are thinking it through.
May have come from his own voters, the elderly who didn't want to go out. Because when we were doing this polling, there were many elderly people that said, I voted early by absentee ballots, and they were Republicans. What also is troubling to me is that 71 million people are comfortable with racism. They're comfortable with misogyny. They're comfortable with a man who's only ever, hey Larry girl, who's only ever bullied people and thrown money at it and had people go out and protect him. He's never had
one of them people is on Social Security. At least one is on Social Security, and he wanted to take it from you.
Yes,
and that is the only thing that would have made you not vote for him. Not the other gross things against humanity he's done. No. You take away my check, I don't like you no more.
Right. My only money, you know. And with the price of pharmaceuticals, because they have lobbyists with deep pockets, he's got people who are on fixed incomes, elderly people, sometimes have had to decide whether to buy food or to buy their medications. And yet,
many times in my work,
medication down. What a maroon, as you say, just consistent lying. And now he wants to go out and do rallies and start his own station to compete with Fox.
And these people really think that he was robbed of the election.
Yeah, they do. They do. Because he said it. Not because there's any truth in it. He said it. And they're not thinking that vote could have been your grandmother's vote. It could have been your great auntie's vote.
Or he just spent 4 years proving why he shouldn't have this job, and then people voted him out.
Yeah.
And nobody sees that on his side at his little rallies with their stupid tin hat on, which says "Make America Great Again," so that their brainwaves are stopped. Like, I don't understand why it is. You can look at the same person I'm looking at and see a whole different thing. Like, I get it. When you look at art is subjective, but this is a person who is spewing out words that we both can hear. But why is it when it goes through my filter, it's bad? When it goes through your filter, it's good. There's something wrong with your filter, or is something wrong with mine, but I don't think it's nothing wrong with mine because the majority voted like I did.
And my thought is, why aren't you counting all the votes? If the presidency was stolen, why aren't you counting the Senate votes?
That's the other thing. I mean, I'm losing, count them all.
Yeah,
get 2 or 3 more.
oh no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. For those of you who are wondering what I might be puffing on, it's a clove cigar. It's part of my celebration. So, Johnny, he went golfing today. I was trying to avoid, like, do you think you can throw some cards to see what he might have up his sleeve, what he's planning to do? Are you able to see that in the cards?
The most he's planning to do is delegitimize the election, which he cannot.
Maybe that's all we need to know, huh?
He can't do that. Biden has already hired his first cabinet pick. Like,
yeah, Ron Clinton.
What's he doing? A person who was scared that he lost the election was stolen from him should not be at the golf course, first of all.
Right.
He should be on every single outlet, including MSNBC, and raising hell that people just stole it from him. Meanwhile, I can't have stole it from you if you told me to quit counting.
Right.
If you wanted to know who truly won, count all of the votes, including the ones you little people went and hid in the woods and the bushes and the lakes and the streams.
Right. They busted a postal worker who's in a lot of shit because he was putting ballots in the trash can.
We have one here. He's under investigation now. Who put all of the trash at the curb? 5 bags of it. In black bags, because it wasn't in his regular bags. It's black bags.
Like trash bags.
Mm-hmm. And somebody found it and said, wait, this is not trash. And then the police raided his house and found QAnon all over his social media.
Oh, see.
So his first card is a 10 of wands. This is
wants to make some stuff and get on up out of here, huh?
The moon. Uncertainty. So he has somebody working on his behalf. He thinks that this is one of those things to where all you need to do is sign it when the document come in. Like, I don't need to do any work. I don't need to make any calls. I don't need to talk to nobody. We don't need to hold no meetings, none of that. Go and do what you need to do and then come back and tell me when it's done. Kind of like Michael Cohen did with the storm. Mm-hmm. Just tell me when it's done. I don't need the details.
I don't need
that way I ain't got to deny nothing in court. So Bill Barr is supposed to be going to working, but Bill Barr is done with you because your Sharpie doesn't mean anything anymore. So.
No.
And the 7 of Cups, there will be some confusion as to why it's not working. The 9 of Wands, this is somebody out there that's supposed to be doing the heavy lifting, but they're right connected to the moon card. Yeah, there's a person he hired, but he does not know why the results are not yielding.
Mm-hmm.
And then with the hard work and the moon is the judgment.
Ooh.
So
nothing he does is going to, like an evil man is only going to reap evil. There he is standing alone, looking dejected. And betrayed. And it's going to be everybody's fault. He's probably screaming at Don Jr. and Eric.
And they want to recount. They want to recount, and that's pretty much what this is. Something to do with votes. They want to recount. And that's fine. Yeah. Paid for 99 recounts. But
we have paid for those recounts.
And here's another thing. This is another problem. For those out there at his rallies that are saying stop counting, why would you stop counting and then recount?
Yeah.
Like, make it make sense. Either you don't want to count or you do want to count. But if you're losing, then you should say count everything and recount it to make sure that I actually did lose and you're not pulling one over on me. Why would you then tell them to stop counting, but we want to audit and
we want to recount in the states that
any sense?
No. Now, he did get North Carolina, so he came from 217 up to 232, but Joe's over 300.
Yeah. Which means you lost.
And in the recent Georgia recount, it showed Joe was ahead of him in Georgia.
And see this, and this is another thing. You lost states you should not have. Arizona has been blue in a long time. Nevada,
Right.
Georgia. Some of these places, Pennsylvania, I knew was going to use. I just knew it was. But those other places should not have been purple, let alone blue. And so it was you.
It was you. And there were lots of Republicans, because I talked to many who said they would never vote for a Republican again. Lifelong Republicans who said, I will never vote for a Republican again. So he's not even thinking that it wasn't all just Democrats coming out for Joe. There was a whole lot of Republicans.
Because all those Republicans stood by and let all that happen that he did for those 4 years. And I was reminded of this today by somebody who was doing commentary. The military vote was quite heavy too. And a lot of those votes were also hidden or trashed or something like that. Because remember, this is the same person who was complicit with bounties being placed upon our soldiers.
That's right. And called them
that type of thing.
Suckers and losers. And you think somebody's going to come out and vote for you after you call them a sucker and a loser? They said we might have been, if those are the provisional ballots that have been set aside. But I think he knows he's blown it with the military. Now John Kelly has had he's an asshole too.
Yes.
Yeah, he weighed in talking about how he should do the right thing and allow Joe's team to come in. He's attempting to make it so that Joe Biden's team comes in and it's totally blown up. The whole thing is for him to leave everything in such a mess that it'll be impossible for Biden and Harris to get anything done. But I feel like they're locked and loaded and that they are ready to go to work.
It was a couple of ex-White House staffers that were higher up that told him right now, get comfortable with executive order because you're going to need those.
He's going to do some executive orders and some pardons that will probably terrify us. Really. And then you have a 30-year-old who doesn't even have any business being in government over everything, telling people if they find out that you're sending out resumes, well, what do you do when you're getting ready to leave a job? You send out resumes praying you'll get another one. You could end up on Dancing with the Stars.
Like Sean Spicer.
Like Sean Spicer. You couldn't even win that. Bless. Well, last week we talked about the girl in Colombia who had a potato growing in her, which makes me I've been walking by the potato section and the girl was giving it side eye as much as I like potatoes. and put the sweet potatoes, I've been giving it the total side eye. I hope I didn't want it too much for anybody else. But it is a true story. And we also spoke about the Japanese creating a male sex doll with all the moving parts for ladies. And so the question was, are these male dolls going to replace men? But I came up with something that I thought was very interesting, and it's called Findom, Findom. Now, this is 21st century B&D and S&M. Now, listen, we all know what bondage and discipline is, and well, some of them maybe you don't know bondage and discipline, and sadomasochism, and that is about in many cases, very powerful, wealthy men don't want sex; they want to be humiliated. So you can get a man come over and dress up in a maid outfit and go in and clean your bathroom with a toothbrush. Don't ask me how I know. But anyway, they don't want sex, they want domination.
That's why Trump likes golden showers.
That's right, because he likes to be dominated. And I really feel like that was one of the things that Melania fulfilled for him. She let him bounce up and down her long enough to get barren. And after that, it was the rack and the ball gag and the strap, putting a ball stretcher on. And well, he don't have no meat, so I don't know how you would even make that. In Find'em, it is Find'em is about, it's called financial domination. And it's men who desire to be dominated by allowing a woman to hack their computers and access their bank accounts, their Twitter accounts, their email accounts, everything account, and having these chicks go in and take all the money. Now, I'm very interested in that because that sounds like something I could do. It's something that you like. You like, and we actually dig this. They give these because they want to submit to the women. And one guy says, I often find myself in regret when they put me in an almost hypnotic, mindless state because it makes me struggle with bills occasionally. But the rush is so fabulous that, and I'm so anxious to please that I love it. And one guy says, I believe women are superior and men should always make a woman he is interested in happy, no matter what. And I can afford it. Why not?
You supposed to, so she goes in, she hacks your account, takes all your money, and then you have to please her to get the money back. But meanwhile, you have to live like a pauper.
No, you don't have to do anything. All you have to do is submit to her. And by
she gives you the money back.
You don't get no money back. By
submitting.
That's why I'm interested. I might have to find me a new part-time gig because you don't have to give the money back. The whole thrill is that these women can go in and take all of your money and have access to all of your email, your pictures.
So they get a rush off of being controlled.
Yeah.
And victimized.
And victimized. They like that. And the man said he could afford it, so he doesn't care.
Jesus Christian.
So now you want to cheat it out of change, okay?
Because my mind goes to other avenues. It's like, why don't you just pay somebody an exorbitant amount of money? I mean, because, like, for instance, okay, you can go get you a prosy, as they call on the street, and get you a prostitute, $20. Mm-hmm. Why don't you give that same prostitute $20,000 to do the littlest of things, or to belittle you, or to control your life, and to, like, overpay for somebody who's doing it anyway? I mean, why would you?
It's not about sex. You see, they don't want sex.
I mean, but if you want to be controlled and dominated, then just pay somebody, I guess.
I had a friend who was the top dominatrix in LA, and she gave me the names of some of her clients, and they were all well known. They were high profile guys, and they came there to be human footstools where they would get on their hands and knees, and they're not allowed to talk to you or to look at you. And if they wobble because they're tired, then
I knew one in Vegas. He liked to be hit. Like, he liked his wife to hit him, like full on punch hit. And I'm thinking, okay, hey, whatever, but
whatever blows you start
for that too. And I'm thinking, what? I mean, okay.
50 Shades of Grey. I love the whole trilogy with fine-ass Jamie Dornan. He really has some great acting chops. So if you get a chance to ever watch a series called The Fall, I think it might be on Netflix or Hulu. He really is a great actor, but they made S&M domination sexy. You know, when he has Miss Honey on the bed, and he's standing above her, asking her to pull that leg stretcher apart. It flips over like a pancake.
But he didn't seem very. Just from looking at him, I've seen him in interviews. I've never seen the movie, but just in interviews, he didn't seem the S&M type. Like he wasn't.
He said he wasn't. He said, "I'm the most boring person. You know, me and my wife do not do that stuff." He said, "I had to study how to use all of the names of all of them and how to use them." No, that's not who he is. He was acting, and he did a great job because they made it look all sexy and stuff. I enjoyed it a great. Not that I've been in those situations, but it's like, damn, you know, that's nice. I'm
not giving nobody all my money, though.
No. So these men like you to hack their accounts. And if you have like any embarrassing pictures and stuff like that, the whole threat is that I'm going to put all your business out in the street and show all of your dirty pictures and your sex films and all that. They like that. And I'm taking all your money. They clean out the accounts.
This constant threat energy.
And they clean out the accounts, and the guys are very happy about it. They love it. So note to self, look into find them. Now there's another story that I would not advise you to do this at home. I wouldn't advise you to do it at all. But there's a such thing as butt chugging. And butt chugging is where you pour cough syrup or something up your butt to get some kind of high. Now, I'm thinking you put it up your butt, all you're going to do is get an enema. But these girls were on Twitter. They got a lot of followers and stuff because they showed people. Her friend hung her up. She did a headstand, and her friend poured the cough syrup in her booty, and they didn't.
First of all, let's stop here. I don't want to know nobody that well to where you say, "Hey, Sheila, you busy?" I'm like, "No, I ain't got nothing to do." Well, come over here. I'm gonna do a headstand, and I want you to pour cough syrup in my ass. I don't want to know nobody on earth that well.
I do not.
Where you are comfortable with me looking straight in your behind and then pouring cough syrup in your body.
And they thought about using a funnel, but they didn't use the funnel. They just pushed the head of the cough syrup bottle in.
Take it to the head.
And it's supposed to give you some kind of high. And I think he said, well, at first I felt like I wanted to poop, but I held it for about 35 or 40 minutes. Okay.
You got a strong ass.
Yeah, you got real control of your anal.
What the hell?
So, it just goes to show you that people have some very, very, very strange.
Now you can smoke with your nether regions too.
Oh yeah, when I worked in Hawaii, we worked at this Korean stripper bar called the Aridong, and they had a lady there who was famous for being able to pick up coins with her coochie.
Mm-hmm.
She would smoke a cigar with her coochie, and she was always in the doctor's office trying to get some monostat or something for non-smoking.
You did all that smoking, now you itching.
No. Now you got tar nicotine up your stuff.
And Marlboro will do it to you every time.
Right. And our band was like, the break band. We got paid really well. Our band was the break band. We saw some stuff up in that strip club, but she was the main attraction. She could suck up, I don't know how many quarters and stuff with that. She would have a stack of coins and she would get busy. Then she would light a cigar and take a puff to get it going and then put it in her coochie and smoke the cigar from there. And I think, oh my God. Now,
she needs a Scrabble board or something. She needs something else to do with her life. You need some hobbies.
Throwing money at her.
Oh, Lord.
A cigarette. I'm thinking,
because who sits around one day, they ain't got no clothes on, and they take a cigarette, and it's got fire at the end of it. Instead of taking this thing with fire at the end of it and putting it in your mouth, you put it in your twat. I don't understand.
I don't get it.
What was the idea shift that said, hey, this should go down here?
This should go well. Well, she got a lot of money and people were coming in. They were coming in to see her do it. And I used to think to myself, because see, I'm very particular. The Mugu Gai Pan must be pristine at all times. And I'm thinking, why is she doing that? And then
they would probably still come to see you if you didn't do that.
Yeah, and then my friend who worked in the GYN's office said, girl, she's always up in here trying to get some medication because that stuff has truly messed up her coochie. And I'm thinking, good grief, smoking a cigar. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy.
She needed
you know what?
So
I really want to, I'm going to go back to strange things that happened this week. First of all, let us all lift a glass and say congratulations to President-elect Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris.
President Biden and Vice President.
President Biden.
It's over. Let him go. Let that other one go. It's over.
Yeah, you're right. He is the president, Okay.
We made it through.
We made it through. See what we did, and we have every reason to be proud of that, but don't think that the work is over, because we're going to have to continue to work hard for Biden and for Harris and for that entire administration. Daddy said he's going to start himself a TV station, a streaming station to compete with Fox, because they call Biden. I'm wondering how Sean Hannity and Tucker Carlson, who is still trying to hold up the bloodstained banner for this man, I'm wondering, do something on Tucker with his lying supremacist ass. Because David Duke suggested that Trump get rid of Pence and appoint Tucker Carlson as his VP.
Oh, that would have been.
A KKK guy is giving you advice on who you should have in your administration. Now, he wouldn't have asked for Tucker Carlson to be the VP if Tucker didn't hold the same ideas and attitudes and stuff as he did, right? Why would a KKK guy get somebody in there who is actually not a white supremacist, So I'm wondering what the future holds for Tucker and for Sean Hannity, because when this boy is gone, what you gonna talk about?
How he was robbed and how. See, this is the thing. Donald Trump, they were defending their guy. And so that's what they had to do every day, was basically tell you how the Democrats were always lying, and then how Trump was always trying to do good things for you if the Democrats would just let him.
And being stopped by the dirty, cheating Dems.
Because I when I worked in Florida and I worked in the store there was constant. And I told y'all this story before about the woman who come in. She say Trump is trying to do this and trying to do that, but the Democrats. Meanwhile, at the time, they did not have the House, the Senate, the Supreme Court, the White House, the nothing.
They had everything.
And yet, how are the Democrats stopping him from doing anything?
Yeah.
But she got that from Fox News because he wasn't accomplishing anything. So they had to blame it on somebody. And so now we have right now to where, since we're going to change administrations, they're going to do what they did with Obama and say how he's messing up everything and that you need to vote him out in 2 years. Basically, vote a more Republican House and Senate. And so, yeah, that's what they're going to talk about.
Yeah, they're going to talk about that, and they're going to try to put it right now. You know, Janine Pirro with her alcoholic. Now, I'm not at all putting down alcoholism or drug addiction. But when you go on television screaming and hollering and wired to the max, telling lies, she lost her gig from what I understand. I'm wondering when they go, you know, Laura Ingraham had somebody from Nevada, a poll worker who didn't want her identity exposed, who came on to her show talking about she saw some big trucks parked outside and they weren't lunch trucks, so they were delivery trucks, and that she saw somebody handing something off to somebody else. Even Laura Ingraham was looking like, what? What you have, and that's the whole idea. When Fox cuts away from you, Kayleigh McEnany and Rona, she's not using Romney as her last name, whatever her name is. When Fox cuts away from you, you're in deep doo-doo.
Like Polly and Esther.
Yeah, that's right. Yes. Oh, I wonder what those dear darlings are doing, because you know the girl, Candace Owens, is back in the news. She's pregnant for a child.
Jesus.
But she's also asking people to donate to a fund so she can sue Facebook. Good luck with that. Mark Zuckerberg has to sue Facebook because she feels like Facebook is silencing conservative voices.
Okay, see, but here's the thing, and this is the thing for both sides to understand. Your freedom of speech is protected from the government, not public and private companies.
Right.
Facebook can censor you because that's their company. You don't own Facebook. The reason they don't censor is because they are publicly traded and it looks bad, such and such and such and such. But they can. They do not have the freedom of speech thing hanging over their head. This is their company. They set their own rules. The same with Twitter. Twitter can censor you if it wants to. Same with Google and YouTube. It can censor you if they want to. The government can't tell you what you can't say. That's it. So why are you suing Facebook? They can censor you all they want to. Go to Parler, where all the rest of them are going.
What is Parler?
It's basically Twitter, but for conservatives.
I'm going to have to check it out because I've been seeing it on YouTube feeds. And then I wonder, what is that somebody in the administration? We don't know.
It's the young man who is into, he graduated from somewhere from computer science. And so he's a computer science IT person. And he started Parler and got a few investors, private investors, and then got some Ted Cruz type people to come over and give it some gravitas, I suppose. They've been trying to lure the president over there too. They've been luring, of course, a lot of his supporters over there because it's home to QAnon now. But they were supposed to be the platform where you can say what you want to say and we're not going to censor you. But they're not going to censor you if you are Republican. They will censor you if you are a Democrat.
Right, if you're a Democrat. Yes. Yeah. So it's the same thing. Why don't you take her ass on the Parler instead of trying to sue Mark Zuckerberg? Because I got one word for you. A couple of words. Darling, you will fail. Mm-hmm. Zuckerberg has 12, 13, 15 generations deep, though. Nowhere. And he actually doesn't do a lot of censoring. Because remember when he was going out and defending what all of these groups were organizing and and the Proud Boys were on there. And he talked about he wants the people to make up their own minds until Joe Scarborough and a bunch of people jumped on him, like people, even Bernice King said, my father got killed because of this kind of shit, you know? So no, this is not about even about freedom of speech. We're saying to you that this is dangerous.
Candace, just go sit down, girl. First of all, you're not getting nothing out of Zuckerberg. Second of all, he got enough money to own you and have you out there plowing his field. Third of all, why you need to raise money to sue somebody? If you ain't got enough money for your lawsuit, then go sit the hell down.
Sit your ass down and have that demon seed you getting ready for.
And who impregnated you? It had to be the sperm bank.
Junior. Where's Eric? They love her. Why wouldn't they contribute to her legal challenge?
Why didn't she try to get a job at the White House so you can get money from the RNC?
Because she wasn't even invited to the convention because she's a fool. That's why. Talking about Hitler was a decent guy, but when he tried to go outside of Germany, that's where he fucked up. Well, guys, read on Candace. I want to know. I have my rider Wade here. I may pick him up in a minute. But go sit your ass down. You don't have a coin. They're not coming to help.
She wants to sue Zuckerberg.
You're dead in the water.
Six of Swords, first card. The Lover,
She's
second card. So she wants her progression to be someone to help her with her progression.
This is her version of a baby shower. I don't have no friends. They're not holding a baby shower for me, so I want y'all to send me some money so I can pretend to be suing Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, there's her plan for money.
Yeah.
Justice, there would be the lawsuits here that she's trying to get for. Off the ground, there's the moons around the Knight of Pentacles. You're not going to raise enough for the type of attorney you would like.
Baby's nursery.
And then King of Cups around the Justice. This is not going to go far because someone is going to advise you. This is not the thing you need to do.
Nobody is interested in her.
Page of Swords. She may have the Queen of Swords. Temperance. Page of Pentacles. So this is going to be reduced to writing blogs and tweets that nature, but
she claims she's not doing a bunch of stuff because she's expecting. I am actually surprised because I didn't think that she and that British cat would have a child, but I guess now that she's an honorary British woman, honorary white woman. Oh my goodness. We coming here from Diamond and Silk. Oh, I learned something new today. I never knew what Cardi B's song WAP. I never knew what WAP meant.
Well,
until today, wet ass pussy.
See, they told me that on the on a live stream, and I'm like, because I kept saying the WAP, and when I worked for the phone company, that was a derogatory term because WAP stood for wireless access point for us. But when you say it out loud, it's WAP, which is derogatory towards Italian Americans.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, I get that that's what she used it for, but don't put that in my chat.
All right, as a vocal musician, as somebody who's been in this business for many, many years, where are the love songs?
So I was talking about this the other day because people like to put forth the argument that there's no good music today, that back in the day is when we had back in the day you had stupid songs too.
Yeah, we had
like it's been stupid songs in every generation, so everybody get off the high horse. But music also goes in phases, to where you will have a particular sound in this generation, and then 6 years later there will be a completely different sound, and then different sound. What the problem is right now is radio has changed. Kind of radio has died. They say video killed the radio star. And so now we don't even watch videos anymore. There are no videos. There are no MTV videos and BET videos, VH1. All that stuff is gone.
MTV was fun.
It was. But now what we have is everything is streamed, and take your phone and Spotify it and then make you a playlist and all that. You don't even buy records anymore. You just buy the song you want and keep it moving. If you even buy it, you can just listen to it for free on YouTube and everywhere else in the world. And so what happens now is you have to create something that's going to live for 10 minutes, and then create something that lives for another 10 minutes, and then create something that lives for another 10. Like, nobody wants a record that lasts the entire year. Like you used to have back in the day. It come out in the summer, it does good numbers, and then by the time the summer comes back around, it went platinum, and so forth and so forth. Now you'd be lucky if you get 100,000 streams or 100,000 purchases or 100. Like, there's no million records sold anymore.
No,
everything is 10 minutes, and so nobody wants to hear the slow song, the slow jams, as they used to say. There's no place for the Anita Baker, even though she can sing better than Adele. So it's, there is no room for that anymore, because you got to make the 10-minute wonders and then move on to the next one. This landscape belongs to the Beyonce and the what's the child name with the red lips? Taylor Swift and the Adele's. It belongs to them now. And then one day it'll go back into a different cycle, and somebody else will.
Beyonce and Taylor Swift are using instruments and making music. I'm talking about beats, which have pretty much beats. They what they do is and then the sampling that they take from other people's music, that they only use just enough of it so they don't have to pay the artist any money.
Most of the time, you don't get a band until you do a concert. All that stuff they do in the studio is on a computer. A computer will do everything in the world for you.
Because I kept wondering, how can people make a tune, put a tune out, and then somebody come back 10 minutes later with a diss track. And then I went to Stankonia Studios. That's I like the way you move. Outcast. That's their studio. And I saw guys in there just standing in a room with a mic, spitting or singing, as they call it. That's what they call singing. Back in the day it was called spitting, because you're not singing, you're just, throwing out a poem. Yeah. And so I thought, so this is how they do that. They can do it in a few minutes, and it's being played in an hour. Oh gosh. Wet Ass Pussy. A love song.
And that's what permeates the atmosphere for music right now, is that. And me personally, I don't get her at all. I don't get the appeal. I don't get the music. She appeals to me zero. Now, mind you, I guess it ain't got nothing to really do with, I like Nicki Minaj. It don't really got nothing to do with that part, because they were supposed to be feuding and all that garbage, but I don't get Cardi B, period. I don't understand nothing she's saying.
No.
I don't think she's all that talented.
Now, the one tune I did listen to, and it was because of Peter Rodriguez, aka Bruno Mars, Please Me. I dug it because it was his portion of it was a straight up R&B crooner tune. When you go to Hawaii, people accuse him of cultural appropriation. I lived in Hawaii for many years. I was a local celebrity there. And when you listen, all Hawaiians listen to, and the Filipinos, they listen to Black music. So, and they had big afros. I mean, it was amazing to see these people recreating all of our music and doing it well. And Bruno has always been uh, an R&B singer, really. He did some pop stuff, but if you listen to his real R&B tunes, but I watched Please Me because I gotta admit, I love the video. And even though Nikki had not Nikki, Miss Cardi had her little line, I love that video. But I dig the music more than anything else because it has music in it. There's just very few places you can go to hear real
That's
music.
because what we are gravitating to right now is the bright and the shiny, something that's going to last 10 minutes until the next thing comes on. Because break it all the way down. Right now, as a singer, I'll pick on Beyonce since she's the biggest in the world. Beyonce.
Yeah.
I like Beyonce, mind you, so this ain't no shade towards her, but there's Beyonce who can sing, and then there's Layla Hathaway.
Ooh,
So
one of my faves.
if the world were fair in the terms of entertainment, Layla Hathaway would be a much bigger celebrity than Beyonce because their voices are not even close. Like Layla Hathaway can sing anybody under the table.
Yes,
But
yeah.
definitely Beyonce. But as far as entertainment value, just like Luther can sing better than Michael Jackson, but entertainment value, you want the flashy and the sparkly and
Right.
the sparks and the lights and the fire and the pyro. You want all that stuff, and that's not what a singer is going to give you. So we'll return there one day, but it'll probably be a long time. I had some hope that Adele would usher that in since she's not a dancer. She just one mic, one singer, one voice, but not really because everybody still wants the shiny.
She's lost weight and I don't even know if she's got a new product out, but I liked Adele. But when you mentioned Layla Hathaway, that girl really did get her daddy's music gene because she can really sing. The work that she did with Gregory Porter is fabulous, and it's funny. I met Gregory Porter when he was here in Atlanta for a play called It Ain't Nothing But the Blues, and he had a part in it. And this was a play that traced the roots of blues. And I knew then, I thought, oh man, this guy can sing. And he just blew up. My friend, he actually got his big start with the Laws family. And that would be Hubert and Ronnie and Deborah and Eloise Laws. Now, Ronnie was with Earth, Wind, and Fire in the early days, and then he broke out with a group called Precious Sensitive that was like kick-ass. That was the first fusion of jazz and whatever else, fusion music. But yeah, so
let me ask you, kind of sort of off topic, on topic. I did the reading. I seen your comment too about the Lady Antebellum and the Lady A.
Yeah.
To where Lady Antebellum is a group of singers, and then Lady A is a blues singer. Lady A has been using her name, Lady A, before they were ever even on the scene. So Lady Antebellum then wants to change their name because antebellum has a racial connotation. And so they were going to change their name just to Lady A. But she's been using that forever and ever and ever, but she did not copyright it. And so since they now copyrighted, they now own her name. And so they get to use it and she supposedly cannot. So what she was saying to them is, okay, give me $10 million and you can have it because, $5 million for me and $5 million for my rebranding. And then they're basically saying no. And so on the one hand, it does not cost $10 million to rebrand a person. On the other hand, that's not your name. Like, I understand that you went through the legal process of copywriting it for your Lady Antebellum group, but you know that's that woman's name.
Yeah.
And you know she been using that name probably before y'all was born.
Right.
But again, it don't cost you $10 million to change your name.
Well,
but
what I said, and you know how I feel about it, I'm going to stand on the side of Lady A, the original, because in this business, and especially in the blues business, a lot of Black artists had their music taken from with groups like Led Zeppelin. A lot of British boys would go down and listen to this music. They would spend time with these artists.
Like Little Richard.
And they wouldn't, and like Pat Boone singing Tutti Frutti, and Richard, Little Richard being the writer and originator of that tune. But somehow Pat Boone, who really whitewashed it and really wasn't a great singer to me, you know, it with Richard, it was really exciting, you know, with him on that piano and his wigs and his makeup, and and the tune rocked. But blues singers, especially Black blues singers, never get the credit that they are due. And when I said give her the money, it wouldn't have done anything to Lady Antebellum. This woman has been using the name. She's probably been hustling and struggling, trying to find a gig, trying to stay relevant. It wouldn't have been nothing for them to give her $10 million. Maybe she wasn't going to even rebrand herself. She was going to use it to buy her a house, get her a new weed, get her a car, do some things with it. But in this business, it's blues players, Black blues players are often overlooked. Now, the one artist who gave them their due was Bonnie Raitt. And she even took some of these players out on the road with her because she not only loved the music, but she reverenced the players, the original guys. Like, I can get with some blues, but some of the Delta stuff is a little too heavy for me. It's folk music, and it's a little too, I don't know, you know, it sounds a little too raw for me, and I'll admit that. But I felt like they should have just gone on and given her the money, and she could just do whatever the hell she was going to do with it. You know, and so that's why I made the comment. Give her the money, because you're going to go on as Lady A and continue to make records and music and continue to earn millions, and you know that name didn't belong to you. So that's why I made the comment, and I'm going to stand up. I'll tell anybody I'm going to stand up straight up for Black artists in this business, because even Black artists weren't even allowed to be rock players. Rick James wanted to play rock, but he could never get inside of that circle of rock musicians. But yet the Justin Timberlakes and the Bieber and all of these cats they instead of it being R&B, they even changed it to urban contemporary or something within the categories for the Grammys, which allowed a lot. And I'm not saying these guys aren't talented. I'm not saying that they don't make good music. What I'm saying is, come on now, you know, come on. Be real about it.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever music has had a morph, whenever it has changed, even with hip hop, nobody was interested in that music. Russell Simmons put it together, and as soon as it started making money, here come the white boys wanting to sign these artists. No, they thought it was awful music. They even had some sister, I don't remember her name. She was going to Congress trying to keep the music from being played until every musician who had played any kind of controversial music testified and said, oh no, oh no, you censor that shit, you gonna censor mine. So no. So this business has, whenever any kind of trend has come up and changed, it has been a Black artist or artists that have done that. So even in music where it's supposed to be colorless, it's not the same.
Oh no.
It's not the same. It's still the same shit. Same shit, different day. All right. Now we're going to go back into, speaking of butt chugging, which I'm still trying to like wrap my head around. Like, why would you want to put anything up your boozy? There's a guy on YouTube called J.L. Cauvin, Cauvin. He is Trump the internet. And he gave a hilarious, it's called Trump's partial concession speech. Now, it is hilarious because he sounds like Trump. He puts on this makeup and this tacky wig. I mean, he's even had like makeup tips if you want to look like Trump. So he has a makeup video, but in his parting, I want to look in on Daddy Pence because in his parting speech, he calls Trump speaks to Pence and tells him he is the most powerful bottom he's ever known. And anybody,
that's messy. Oh.
In the whole thing, he keeps making comments about Pence being a bottom. And anybody who knows anything about the gay community, we know what a dedicated bottom is. So what do you think? What's happening with Pence? What do you think he's thinking about now, outside of the destruction of his total career?
I did a reading on him that shows now he needs to walk the road to redemption because he just ruined his name by attaching it to the Medusa. I'm saying, Michael.
I mean, you think folks would learn? You think they would learn? Like hanging out with this guy is just not a good thing. Having yourself attached to anything he's doing is not a good thing. You know, those poor children that's trying to find jobs may have what's that, Carlson?
Struggle to juggle, chaotic environment, trying to keep it all in the air before it all hits the ground. But this lets you know too that you're off because see, one person, 1 foot off the ground, 1 foot on the ground. That's not a really right. That's not balance.
That's balance, not balance.
And so what you need to do is first center yourself, ground yourself, and get back in touch with your spirit, your source, your God, whatever it is to you. I'm not going to say what it is because, as I said before, I think he's a fake Christian. Because if you can walk into them facilities and see them people being mistreated and then turn around like you didn't see anything, that cannot be.
Then ask them a stupid question like, "How are you doing?" or "How are they treating you?" And it's like, do you see where you are?
This would be his source. See, the five streams that come from the Ace of Cups are your senses. This white dove is the Holy Spirit. This is communion with the Holy Spirit.
Right.
Crossing his imbalance. Now he needs to return back to where it went from which he came, which is his spirit and his holy light, his Holy Spirit. That's what he is needing to do. That is what he is going to be trying to do because he realized he just fucked up his life.
Right.
Because people didn't like you when you signed the religious bill thing. But I will give him this. He changed it because he got the pressure. But he could have been one of them hard-nosed people who said, screw it. I don't really care.
Money for Indiana.
But he changed it. He can't change this. You stood 4 years beside that person, besides that orange man.
Right.
You stood 4 years beside him and let him screw up everything in the world. He's the biggest sinner you ever known, and you didn't say nothing about it.
That's right.
7 of Pentacles. Now it's time to assess life in general. Judgment. Judgment coming upon you. This is God's messenger here. The Queen of Wands. There's your mother, auntie, cousin, whatever you call them today.
Mother.
Now, around Judgment is the 5 of Pentacles.
Oh, boy.
You have been dejected. You have been rejected. You have been ejected. Because what's happening right now is you knew better and you did it anyway.
You didn't do
all white syndrome.
I was on this site today. I don't know, and a video came across my feed with this woman in Canada who says that Trump is going to get a second term and Justin Trudeau is going to go to jail because somehow or another she said, and I don't know how she came up with this, that international leaders played a part in this voting process. I don't know how she came up with that. She's obviously not a Trudeau, but this whole page was with Pat Robertson and everybody prophesying that Trump was going to get a second term. Kenneth Copeland was standing up before people laughing about Joe Biden. And I'm just wondering if y'all asses laughing now, because the evangelicals, even though they work for these nonprofits and they don't pay taxes, they got some real good juice in Trump's tax bill. Like if you own a plane, you know, if you got 2 cats and 5 dogs. I mean, they got all kinds of tax credit. If you go
for me, thing is, and I said this before to all psychics and mediums and readers and card throwers and seashell readers, chicken bone readers, whatever the hell it is you read, whatever it is you do, whether you just sit with your eyes closed and get hits all day, whatever it is, all of you, including me, are going to be wrong at some point. You are a human, fleshy person trying to interpret a spiritual message. You are going to get it wrong, first of all. Second of all, Spirit is going to tell you what's going on right now, based upon energy right now, based upon actions right now. That person can change. There's 10 people involved. One of them could change something that changes the direction of everything. Now you're automatically wrong because one person's dropped out or another person's come in. So you're going to be wrong. Now, here's what I don't understand. Why the people who said Trump was going to win, and I got messages, we got a ton of messages Tuesday night. Such and such said, oh, he's going to win. No, such and such is wrong as fuck. Okay? He is not going to win. No way, no how. So why is it you can't just say, oh, I missed that one?
Right. And it seems to be too much for some to say, you know, I might have misread it. I was wrong.
Mind you, ain't nobody upset you was wrong.
No.
Because he lost.
People come on and say, you said so and so and so and so. And it didn't happen. But I did remember you saying something today about people living in the now. All we have is now. And sometimes you can stress yourself out by looking too far into the future. That's what stresses people out.
Yes.
You want to know what's going to happen. And it's not always
do not like unlabeled things.
What's going to happen. It's not always for you to know. And so the readers do the best they can, but every last one of them were telling people to remain calm, do the best you can to remain positive, focus on what you want to happen, because for everything you don't want to happen, there's the other side of what do you desire? Mm-hmm. What do you desire to come through? So I pray for y'all, because I know you probably get those kinds of comments. I don't know. Never read
to all of us. Y'all said it was going to be a blue wave. I'm not watching you anymore. Okay, bye, bitch. First of all, no, I didn't say it was going to be a blue wave. I said they might get a couple seats in the Senate and they'll keep the House. That is not a blue wave. But even if I did say that, okay, fine. You don't have to watch.
Speaking of the Senate, now Moscow Mitch and his drug dealer wife, you know, I think that bitch is poisoning his ass. She's been giving him heartbreak for years, and that's why his shit's turning black. And I've always said, what happens is he goes to piss, and his black dried up balls of dick fall into the toilet. I'm wondering what is up with he and Lindsey Graham, Miss Lady G. What Lindsey Graham was online begging for money, and all of a sudden he's got $1 million to contribute to whatever Trump is doing now. His defense fund, whatever the fuck it is, he made a contribution. Now, Lindsey Graham was friends with Joe Biden.
Supposedly.
He even said what a decent guy he was.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering what's on Lindsey's mind with Joe coming in, being the president now. What is going on with Lady motherfucking G? Come on, Johnny. I know you don't want to.
No, I'm listening.
How is he feeling now that he knows that Joe Biden is president?
So
you never want to meet a nicer man than Joe Biden.
There is a bit of a mood stabilizer that he's on right now. That he may be taking with something that's not water, which is why he shows very bad in his skin.
Yeah.
He does feel good about Joe coming in because he knows Trump's going out. Now, here's the thing. Because he's a snake too.
Yeah.
He's a snake with a forked tongue. So on one hand, he's good that Joe's coming in, Trump's going out. On the other hand, he had to save face and say he was on the side of the Republicans and Trump the whole time. Because that's why he was golfing with the stupid man and all this type of stuff. Mm-hmm. Because whatever shenanigan he pulled to keep him elected.
I think Lindsey's a pedo, and I'm not taking that back. I think he's an old queen with a thirst for young boys.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's what is being held over his head. Like, nobody cares that you like men, but the men that you desire are not always of age.
Young Latino boys, too.
Yeah.
Don't ask me how to know.
And what's been held over his head. And I'm wondering how you're going to turn on your friend and investigate his son. And now that he's president, what are you going to do now?
So there is, how is he feeling? So there's the lovers. Garden of Eden. Temptation. There's the Knight of Pentacles. He feels secure because going forward in the months, he has his job, he has his money coming in, so forth, so forth. Yeah. White House celebration again. He feels good about Joe coming in.
He does.
Yes.
Does he think Joe is going to feel good about him?
He just wants to get out of the Trump umbrella. These people cling to Trump because he was the president. He was their guy. He likes Joe Biden. Now, he's still going to save face for Republican value because he has to get reelected here with that Knight of Pentacles. He has to keep that job. But this is why you get people that's like a Lindsey Graham that are friends with the Joe Biden, people who are like him being friends with John McCain. People think John McCain had such great character. So it's like, this is how you get a Lindsey Graham, which is a slime ball, who has friends that are non-slime balls. And he likes Joe Biden.
I know but I'm wondering, what is he going to do? A step and fest? Is he going to go with tail tuck? Because Joe may not understand why you doing this, why you did this to me.
He's secure. So he doesn't really, the Joe Biden thing it's not the same as Barack Obama. Barack Obama shut them to their core because he's also a racist. But Joe Biden, it's different. They like him. He's a corporate Democrat too, so he's not really going to hurt South Carolina. But there's nothing insecure about a Joe Biden presidency.
I think Susan Collins, Tom Tillis, Lindsey Graham, I think they cheated because I was listening to an elections fraud lady who said that even when Ossoff was running against Susan Handel And we watched the results, and Ossoff was well ahead of Karen Handel. Somehow, the companies that manufacture the voting machines just dropped 126,000 black votes. All of a sudden, there's a runoff. And I'm wondering if the same shit is happening with Warnock and Loeffler, because Warnock was over 50%. He was at 50%. Loeffler was at 23%. Now, you don't crawl up like that, being honest.
I always got Mitch McConnell was going to win. Every time I pulled cards, I always got him.
Lady McGrath was not a likable chick.
I can't even remember her name at the time, sadly enough. But Lindsey Graham, I never got him winning. Never.
Me either. And I think
once a long time ago.
Let me tell you something. I think Jamie should have pulled some real end shit and said, I want a recount and an investigation.
I don't know why he conceded the way he did. That was the wrong thing to do.
To concede. I think he should do what Andrew Gillum did and say, I changed my mind. I want to pull my concession, and I want to find out how he was able to get himself up out of the gutter.
Mm-hmm. Stacey Abrams shouldn't have conceded either.
Well, she never came out and really conceded.
People, I mean, just drive all that. There's just no way that child won.
Who's that?
Okay, fine. If he did legitimately, no, he didn't. But if he did legitimately, then it should reflect that if you counted everybody's votes. I don't think they counted everybody's votes. I just don't.
Well, if you can't see the thing about the electronic thing, even though we now have a paper ballot that is spat out, and we can look at that ballot to make sure it has everybody that we voted for on it accurately. What this woman is saying is that because of the electronic, the companies who own them, and there are 3 major voting machine companies. It used to be Diebold, and somehow they might be still in the game, but that because of these electronic voting machines, there's no way to trace or track these votes. So,
and I said this too, because mind you, the moral of the story is they cheated and they lost. Because people were stressed out about the voting machines that Ivanka had patents on. I said, whatever it is that they're planning to do, it's still not going to work.
You did. I remember that.
Now, sadly, it didn't work presidentially, but it may have worked locally somewhere.
Right.
Because how you got a Democratic president and then down ticket is not a bunch of Democrats in office.
That's right. I think they cheated, Johnny. I feel very sure that it has something to do with those voting machines. Lindsey Graham should not be in office. Because Jamie Harrison, Chuck Schumer, they were on his side. I was sad when he just conceded instead of doing what the Republicans would have done had he won.
And who the hell voted 60,000 times for Kanye West?
Oh, Jesus, keep me near the cross.
60,000 people voted for 60,000 people said it is okay to go out and try to fuck this election up.
Some of his fans, I even spoke to a woman when we were polling who said she would vote for Kanye. I said, well, ma'am, he's not in the poll. He's not on the ticket in Georgia. So we can't.
60,000.
Some of his fans, 60,000 votes.
But
and again,
this was way too serious of an election for you to be trying to.
Well, he got money from the stimulus for his church. Kanye doesn't need any money. He doesn't need it. but he had to return the favor. So I feel like he ran for president. And again, they didn't think this through. Okay, 60,000 votes that didn't go to Joe Biden. Well, they didn't go to your monkey ass either.
Because him and Jared Kushner had a little powwow about running for president. You just took more votes away from Trump. That's how third-party candidates work. Somebody is going to lose whatever votes that they get.
My God, it's this madness.
Okay, fine. The 60,000 votes may not have crippled Donald Trump, or if he gets them, it's not going to push him to the 309. But what if they were in one place and all you needed was 60,000 to get these electoral votes and he took them all from you? Like, come on, man.
They didn't think it through. Nobody ever thinks it through. He's impulsive. I mean, Noel Kessler was this guy he worked for rock bands. He was the talent coordinator or whatever. He had a very specific job, and you don't just jump into this. You have to have a specific skill. And he tells a whole lot of Trump's dirt, and he also confirms what I know about Donald Trump being in New York when he had anointed himself as king of the city. And my ex was and still is a very high-profile individual. Now, the first thing is the only Negroes Trump wants around him are the ones that have money. Now, you're going to pull that science experiment that went terribly wrong named Lil Wayne, who says stupid shit like there is no racism, I got mine. Ice Cube, who tried to say the Dems gave him shade when Cedric, I think his name is Cedric Robinson, the representative from Louisiana, said, give us a minute. The plan, you came with an outline, we'll fill in the blanks, but wait till after the election. No, where is Trump going to get $50 billion from to invest in the Black community?
And why did he not do it 4 years ago?
Why didn't he do it? Exactly. So y'all are idiots. Kanye had to return the favor. Why is he meeting with Jared Kushner? Jared and Ivanka, I think, are running the show. Trump has tried to phone it in. He ain't even trying to do that anymore. He's just going to the golf club because his ass is depressed. They're saying that they have to burn incense candles and stuff with all the fast food that he's ordering coming in, funking up the place. They should be trying to move out and prepare the White House for the new people. Even the reptile hasn't reached out to Dr. Biden. You know, these people you tore up the Rose Garden. You just went in and fucked up all the history.
I wonder, will she?
Read, let's see. Let's see. I don't think she will, because she's as vile as Trump. She's got her money. Mama got something stashed somewhere. She will not leave broke. She'll find herself another wealthy man and be on a yacht somewhere in Europe or in a French Riviera wearing big sunglasses and a sun hat.
The Queen of Pentacles, first off. And Page of Swords. This is a negative for messaging. There might be a message that goes, but it is very, 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 very superficial. It is one of them things that she may have to do to save face. Page of Cups. There's some immaturity about it too. So it's kind of like, hi, Dr. Jill, welcome to the White House clique. It's not some great, it's not what Michelle did for her. It is not that.
Like decorate the White House for Christmas, you know?
You know, there is not going to be no camaraderie. There ain't going to be none of that. It's
not going to be any real welcome.
It'll be fake as hell.
Do you think that he's going to come back after Thanksgiving, you think he's going to return to the White House?
I don't know. See, here's my thing, though. I always said he was going to make it. He was going to make it full term. Now, there is still time for him to not make it full term for all the people who said he was going to leave early. But I still think that he is going to make it full term.
Yeah, me too. I think he's just too arrogant and too vindictive and too mean-spirited not to just burn the whole. I keep hearing talking heads burning down the house. He's just gonna burn down. He's gonna burn it down before he leaves. He's just gonna burn it down and take everybody that
burn it down if you want to. You're gonna take all them ghosts with you wherever you're moving.
Now, somebody told me that the Dolly Madison tea set is missing since they've been there.
We did a reading a while back. We did a reading a while back. There's some stuff missing.
These guys are gonna walk out. They don't. Nobody took inventory.
My thing is, where you gonna sell it? Everybody knows where you got it from.
No, he won't try to sell it. It's just that he has it.
Something is gonna be gone. Yes.
So I hope they got the inventory takers up in there, and a friend suggested they have like one of those airport scanners, so before they walk out, they can X-ray their asses.
Because he took some stuff.
Damn.
At the people's house.
He took it from the people's house. Not only has he been using us as a piggy bank and a Trump property, now you're stealing from the people's house, and it's not something that you can put out and display. You can't display.
Everybody gonna know where you got it from.
Everybody gonna know that you didn't have that shit when you walked in there. Everyone's gonna know you stole it. Oh my God! I
guess a long time ago. I think what I got was an art piece. So he made still like the bust of Thomas Jefferson or something that's in there, and you can take that if you want to, because we don't need that in there. But you may take something like that.
Right either. You know, he held Sally Hemings captive and made babies with her, and then tried to figure out how much black blood you have to have in you to be considered black. All of them were slave owners and rapists. So let's just say this about the founding fathers. They weren't necessarily the creme de la creme of society. I do believe when they sailed off thinking that there was an edge of the earth, and some people saying that these bastards will never need to come back. We're glad to see him gone. So, stealing from the White House.
Why not?
I guess who's going to stop him? Bill Barr says he has all power in his hands, so who's going to stop him?
He stole our money for 4 years. Why not steal something too?
Steal something else. That's what I'm thinking is happening with this 30-year-old boy with a budget of like $3 trillion or something. He has no clue what he's doing. But
none of them do. I mean, they work for Trump. He hires the best people.
They're all thieves. And I'm thinking he's trying to figure out how he can get money before he can leave there, where they can move money around so that he doesn't walk out totally broke.
Because he owes everybody.
Do you think, all right, he says that he's going to come and run in 2024. He's acting like there won't be any lawsuits coming after that.
Be running for the airport, maybe.
What do you think? You think he's going to try to run for 2024?
No.
You know, like just off the top of your head.
2024. Two of Cups. Might be somebody around him. We did this one on when I was doing the other reading. It might be somebody around him.
With Jen and everybody.
With you asked Tarot. I asked if he would run or a Trump would run. It's somebody around him that might. But there's a 2 of Cups, a 7 of Cups, some confusion. 5 of Swords, there's defeat there. He's going to have other problems. There's this whole thing of standing on the stage. I'm running again. No. 4 of Pentacles, trying to hold on to what you have left. Somebody's coming for that ass. So the 3 of Swords, there's the knife in the heart. So heartbreak. 6, this is the Tower. 6 of Wands. Now, this is very interesting because I guess I pulled this deck for this very reason. The 6 of Wands is not a bad card. And in this deck, there's 52, 53 cards because the Fool's in here. It's modeled after a playing card deck. So you have, 6 of Clubs and the 5 of Diamonds and all that type of stuff. So it's modeled after playing cards. And so they took some of the cards and smashed them together. The 6 of Wands is a celebrated person. It's celebration. It's victory. It's that type of thing. It has nothing to do with the Tower. The Tower is something crumbling down. Something this means disaster. It means an ending, a violent ending, even sometimes. Let me show you. So here's the 6 of Wands. This is not Tower, right? So they put those 2 cards together. Let me show you side by side so you can see where I'm going with this. I'm going to tie it up in a minute here. The 6 of Wands and the Tower are opposites. This is celebration. This is disaster. This is elevation. This is demotion. This is victory. This is loss. So on this card, they put it together. The Tower is disaster. 6 of Wands is promotion. Now, the celebrated person in this instance, in this conversation, is Donald Trump. So the celebrated person is also depicted on the Tower card. So there will be a demotion, a tearing down of his celebrity. There will be a disaster of his celebrity. There will be a disaster of his elevation. He will be brought down to size. That's why you get the 3 of Swords and the 5 of Swords together. That's both of those. This is heartbreak. That's defeat. He is not going to run again because he cannot escape what is already happening to him. And when I mean already, as in right now already. So, no, not going to run again. He's going to have his own problems.
His swords fell out.
There you go.
And then on the bottom of the deck was a 9 of
9 of Swords. Worry.
Yeah. Daddy got some issues. I don't even know if he's not healthy. He's 78. Why is he going to try to run for president again at 78?
It's not.
He's not.
He's going to have a whole heap load of problems.
Letitia James is one of the biggest problems. She's coming after that ass. She's probably sitting up right now, sharpening her claws.
I mean, she already got him once with the charity thing. So we ain't playing with y'all.
University. So let's see what else. And word has it that as soon as he is no longer president, Angela Merkel said, "Go get that y'all embarrassment to the world by washing money, but go get the property. Go get whatever he has of value that he used to get those loans. Take his shit. Take it."
And here's another thing. Think about this, y'all. If she went and looked at the family's charity and found that it was basically fraud, and then forced you to pay $3 million and say you will never own a charity ever again, that means she found financial fraud dealing with this family.
She did.
She had proof that y'all were defrauding people, that this was an illegitimate charity. That means she more than likely got something else too. Because I bet you one thing led to the other, that led to the other, that led to the other, that led to her judgment. And so I bet you she just waiting. She just waiting. Remember what I found? I got some more.
I got some more, and I've called in your boy who pleaded the fifth, which means
he answered questions, but he was, I bet you he said the Bible out loud.
I'm wondering if we're going to ever see the unredacted portions of the Mueller report and what that holds, because he was cut off at the knees when Barr came in as Attorney General, and he couldn't follow that money.
Ain't no telling.
I'm wondering if we will see if Adam Schiff and everybody in the House of Representatives will ever see that unredacted Mueller report. I think with Bill Barr gone, there's no reason for them to not see it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, we have come up on it's like 10 of 11. I've had a lovely time. I had planned to read some more bizarre news, but we'll save it for the next time. Mm-hmm. I want to thank Johnny from Taro's Apprentice. We're sending love to Adrian. We missed her terribly, missed her energy, but I know what she's working on is very important, and I'm praying that has worked out. I want us all to be very, very happy that we made our voices and our feelings loud and clear by showing up to vote. That even when you might have been worried about C-19, you might have been concerned about the people showing up at the polls. Did you notice that nobody showed up at the polls really to intimidate anyone?
I said it wasn't gonna happen, y'all.
Yeah. They're cowards, and they knew that
people, they are not brave.
No, and that people were ready for that ass. I know in Georgia, in Atlanta, they were ready. So
it was cold outside. I'm in a line. I'm trying to listen to music. I guarantee you that I am the wrong one to come fuck with if you want to come mess with me. It's 10 degrees outside.
I dare somebody, because
I've been standing here for an hour and a half. Play me if you want to.
That's right. I got there 6:15 in the morning. It was cold. It was dark. And I was like locked and loaded, like ready. I wish somebody would fuck with me.
Nobody police. I just wish somebody would. That's
like a friend of mine said, I'm looking for somebody's ass to kick. So come on. Come on with it. Come on. Try to stop me. So we did it. We did it. And we have every reason now to be able to sleep a little easy. But I'm telling you, continue to lift up Biden and Harris, because those electoral votes have to be certified in December. I'm curious to see what the people who have not congratulated Joe Biden and Vice President Harris on their victory. They'll probably have to let it go once the Electoral College says it is done.
It is what it is. It's already done.
Freaking stake has been driven into the heart of Dracula. Speaking of Dracula, we aren't hearing from Stephen Miller. We've heard that 150 Secret Service agents are out. Ben Carlson is out. Mark Meadows is out. Everybody is contracting this virus hanging around with his monkey ass.
This hoax. So,
yeah. Unless, of course, it's just a reason to say, I know that this is the end and I'm ducking. I know this is over. So I'm getting out while it gets good. And I'm going to say I'm sick. I can't come in today.
He did it.
I'm thinking it might be a combination of things. So relax. I hope everyone has a wonderful Thanksgiving. Please stay safe. Life has changed. Life has changed. So I don't know how you're going to celebrate, but please keep you and your family safe in your celebration. Christmas is all of this is going to be different, but I tell you what, when it comes around January 1, we'll be able to truly celebrate the new year, because those votes will be certified and Daddy will have no excuse but to get his shit and get up out of there, because if he doesn't, there are ways. We can do this the easy way, or we can do it the hard way. And I think the reptile will have slithered on out of there already because she has absolutely no reason to stay. She has she was miserable being there this whole time. Now she can escape and get away from him. And I'm wondering if that chick is going to, shortly thereafter, we're going to hear about divorce proceedings. Maybe a year later. Just a little bit, so she makes sure that prenup and all that, everything's in place and tight. Then I think in about a year from now, we'll hear that she's leaving his ass. Because he's miserable and he's not going to get any better. You've pissed off all the companies that can help you with your channel. So I don't know what you're going to do. I don't know. You've made everybody pissed off. So Johnny, thank you so much for coming on. It's always a whole lot of fun. Thank you, everybody who came on tonight and joined us. I appreciate you. You have to know, I really appreciate you coming on and supporting me. I have plans to get a website up, and I have some really funny stuff. I took a lot of notes and wrote down a bunch of funny stuff so that at our next petty party, which will be, let's see, let me get the calendar up. 2 weeks from now, it will be our next petty party. Well, I don't know, because that's around Thanksgiving. So we might not see you. Oh, there's Native American Heritage Day also on the 27th. We may not see you until the first week in December, which will be the 5th, because I know everyone is going to want to enjoy their families and enjoy their Thanksgiving. I know I will. Johnny, what are you doing for Thanksgiving?
Not a thing.
That sounds good.
But I would celebrate holidays. Not that I have anything against them. They're just the days to me.
Yeah,
celebrate everything.
And they're really an excuse to overindulge.
Yeah, I'll do that though. I will do that.
You can't ask first Americans how they feel about Thanksgiving, because I bet some of them wish they had just stabbed those motherfuckers in the heart before they tried to help them. They could look into the future and see what actually happened.
They could take Columbus Day off the calendar.
Yeah, take it off. I forget we even have Columbus Day. I don't even understand why we even revere
cell phone when it comes up. I want to take it off every time and I can't.
Yeah, it's like, you mean the banks are closed for this?
Mm-hmm.
You know, all of that. So thank you everyone for joining us. And if I could leave you with a positive word, I would just say, we did this. I want us to continue, as difficult as it may be, to walk in love, because I'm telling you, I saw a terrible story about a young 15-year-old boy who was lynched and killed in Louisiana by some white friends. And it brought up memories of Emmett Till. And I had to really pray down the hate that was brewing in my heart, because it's very difficult to love when you have somebody who just thinks it's all right to kill somebody because they're not the same color as you. However, I will always, always, always go back to the most powerful feeling there is, and that is the power of love. We can look forward now, and we can help heal the land. There are going to be people who didn't vote for Biden who are going to believe what they want to believe. My prayer is that in these next 4 years that their eyes are open, that they will actually see what kind of man he is and has always been, and how he was screwing y'all's asses with a baseball bat and some Sandy Vaseline up the ass, that he was actually butt chugging all y'all's asses this whole time. And he wasn't using cough syrup. So each of you have a wonderful Sunday. Stay safe. And I guess we'll see you on December 5th. Take care of yourselves. Peace.